Spanish Antonio Gaudí Cornet, also known as Antoni Gaudí, was a Catalan architect who was born in Reus, Spain, on June 25, 1852, and died in Barcelona on June 10, 1926. His distinctive style is distinguished by flexibility of form, sensual color and texture, and organic wholeness. Gaudí primarily operated in or close to Barcelona. He spent a large portion of his career working on the Sagrada Familia, also known as the Expiatory Temple of the Holy Family, which was still under construction when he passed away in 1926. Gaudí was born in a rural area of Catalonia, on Spain's Mediterranean coast. Gaudí never married and came from low beginnings. He was the son of a coppersmith, who would eventually reside with him and a niece. Early interest in architecture led him to travel to Barcelona, Spain's most modern city at the time, to study in 1869 to 1870. Barcelona was Catalonia's political and intellectual hub. His studies had been disrupted by military service and other sporadic pursuits, so he did not graduate until 8 years later. The architectural style of Gaudí passed through various stages. When he graduated from the Provincial School of Architecture in Barcelona in 1878, he practiced a rather florid Victorianism that was evident in his school projects. He quickly developed a style of composition through unprecedented juxtapositions of geometric masses, the surfaces of which were highly animated, with patterning in brick or stone, gay ceramic tiles, and floral or reptilian metalwork. The overall design is Moorish, or Mudéjar, as Spain's unique fusion of Muslim and Christian architecture is known, but not the specifics. The Casa Vicens, 1878-80, El Capricho, 1883-85, and the Güell Estate and Güell Palace, from the later 1880s are all examples of his Mudéjar style, with the exception of El Capricho, all of which are in Barcelona. The dynamic potential of historic styles was then explored by Gaudí in the Episcopal Palace in Astorga, 1887-1893, the Casa de los Botines in León, 1892-194, and the Casa Calvet in Barcelona, 1898-1904. However, his works after 1902 defy categorization as stylistic. Except for certain overt symbols of nature or religion, Gaudí's buildings became essentially representations of their structure and materials. He achieved a type of structure that has come to be known as equilibrated in his Villa Bellesguard, 1900-1902, the Güell Park, 1900-1914, and the Colonia Güell Church, 1898-1915, south of that city. This is a structure made to stand on its own, without internal bracing, external buttressing, or the like, or, as Gaudí noted, as a tree does. His system's main components included thin shell, laminated tile vaults that exert relatively little thrust, as well as piers and columns that tilt to transmit diagonal thrusts. Two multi-story apartment complexes in Barcelona were subjected to Gaudí's equilibrated system. The Casa Milà, 1905-1910, whose multiple stories are organized like clusters of tile lily pads with steel beam vanes, and the Casa Batlló, 1904-1906, a refurbishment that included new balanced features, particularly the exterior. He created the two structures as analogies for Catalonia's mountainous and marine characteristics, as was so often his approach. The Renaixença, an artistic revival of the arts and crafts, paired with a political resurrection in the shape of ardent anti-Castilian Catalanism. Both organizations aimed to revive the way of life that had been long suppressed in Catalonia by the government of Spain, which was controlled by Castilian culture and centered on Madrid. The Sagrada Familia, which would take up Gaudi's whole career, served as the spiritual fulcrum of Barcelona's Renaissance. Even though he was given the order to construct this chapel as early as 1883, he did not live to see it completed. He worked on it, growing more devout as he went. After 1910, he essentially stopped doing anything else, and eventually isolated himself on the property, living in the workshop. Gaudi was killed by a trolley vehicle in 1926, while en route to Vespers, a few weeks before he turned 74. He passed away as a result of his injuries. The Sagrada Familia was still under construction until into the 21st century, after Gaudi's passing. Pope Benedict XVI dedicated the unfinished church as a basilica in 2010. Gaudi equilibrated the cathedral Gothic style into a complexly symbolic forest of helicoidal piers, hyperboloid vaults and sidewalls, and a hyperbolic paraboloid roof. In his drawings and models for the Church of the Holy Family, only one transept with one of its 4 towers was finished at his death, outdoing the bizarre concrete shells constructed all over the world in the 1960s by engineers and architects who were influenced by Gaudi. Apart from this and the comparable, frequently naive respect that surrealist and abstract expressionist painters and sculptors had for Gaudi, Gaudi's influence was relatively small, being mostly represented by a small number of admirers of his balanced structure. When the International style was the preeminent architectural movement in the 1920s and 1930s, he was disregarded. By the 1960s, he had earned the respect of both experts and laypeople for the limitless and tenacious ingenuity he applied to any design project he was given. Gaudi's architectural creations are notable for their variety of forms, textures, and colors, as well as for how freely and expressively they appear to have been put together. A Gaudi building's intricate geometries and structural design are so in tune with one another that the entire thing, including its surface, gives the impression of being a natural item in perfect harmony with the laws of nature. Gaudi's life was also influenced by this sense of complete wholeness. His personal and professional lives were intertwined, and his collected remarks on the art of building are really aphorisms on the art of living. His passion for architecture, which to him encompassed many different arts, was unwavering. There is a link in the description to gifts and merchandise with the subject Antoni Gaudi, if there is any interest.